Welcome again to another one of our Thursday tech sessions. And today I'm going to be talking about Storyboard That and about how it can be used across so many different grade levels and so many different contexts. And I'm also going to be providing you with access to the full platform. We have pro access during the COVID-19 situation, so it's a great way for us to explore some of these tools and figure out what are the tools we really want to continue using in the new school year. What do we really want to invest in? And maybe what do we not want to invest in? So with that being said, I'm going to kick this off. Just before we get into the tool itself, I want to do a little bit of a grounding related to the topic here. So if you could pull up your chat, I would just love to hear from you. What is your favorite digital storytelling tool that you use with your students? If it's something that you've already done with your classes, something that you often fall back on because you love it so much, it's really reliable. Is there anything out there that you use? If so, pop that into the chat. Yeah, Book Creator, amazing, so simple, easy to get started. Definitely one that I'd recommend. Sure, if you haven't used any yet, don't worry. This is going to be a great one for you to start exploring. Chatterpix, yep. Any others out there? For me, I would say Adobe Spark Post, Adobe Spark Video. Those are some really good ones as well. Yep, right on, Robert. Actually, I'm going to be showing you a example of one that I made to model it for my students. So it's definitely a very powerful tool. There's a lot of versatility there. Perfect. Has anyone, another question I was going to ask, has anyone used Storyboard That before? I know that there are a few teachers that have used it in world languages. So I was curious to know if anybody else. No? All right, perfect. So I have a captive audience here who are excited to learn something they haven't used before. So let's take a look and let's talk a little bit about what Storyboard That can do. What are the features that are available? What you're seeing right now is just, I made this quickly before the presentation. I took advantage of the characters that you can customize, you can put into a scene, and then I actually exported it as an animation. So it's an animated GIF that uses my character changing his positions. So in this platform, you're able to change the layout. So if you know that you want to have a performance, for example, Rob, where you're going to have 9 different scenes, then you can quickly set up that layout. You can drop in different backdrops. You can add characters. You can change the characters' clothes. You can change their poses. You can add objects into the scene. You can customize frames, and you can even have text either inside of the frame or below if you wanted to give stage directions, or in my case, the example I'm going to share is a storyboard I used to help me plan a film. So I had cues and additional information underneath so that me as the director or the actor that I was working with could have some idea of what's expected of them. There's also a huge library available on the website for project ideas, templates, resources, and they have all of that grouped by age bands and also by subject area. And you can also export it in many different ways depending on how you want to use it moving forward once it's been created. So our plan for today is really, I'm going to do just a little bit of the talking. I have some time planned for us to actually be exploring. Can you hear me, Thomas? You turn your mic on?
No video on.
Oh, let me just mute you real quick, Thomas. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to get you access. First thing, I'm going to be sharing an access link. You click on the link, you sign in with Google, you're going to be able to join our domain under our new license. Talk a little bit about how you could use it in your classroom, and I'm going to share my example. I'll do a live demo, and then I have a little exit ticket for you as you take some time to explore it right now. So again, questions, if you have questions, you pop them in the chat. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Happy to answer them as we go through. So the link, I'm going to copy this link real quick. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to give you access right now so that you can click on the link and sign up. So keep an eye on the chat. I just posted a link in there. Click on it, choose your sign in with Google, and use your ASB India account, and you will be added to our license. So I'm just going to give you 30 seconds to do that. And that way, if you have any problems connecting, you can let me know. Once you are in as a teacher, you can set up your classes. You can invite your students that way as well. And if you need help, of course, all you have to do is send an email to IT, and we will be happy to sort that out for you as well. If the link has worked and you're able to sign in, if you could just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go. All right, looks like about half of us. I'm going to give you a little bit more time. Okay, Mina's in. All right, nice. Okay, I'll go ahead. So to give you a little backstory, in my with my 8th grade students right now, I am engaging them in a project around filmmaking during the time of COVID. So that's our 6-week project that we just started. It's how do we create a short film from, given the circumstances that we're in, we're locked in our homes, but everyone has access to a computer and a phone. So helping to develop the skills for them to come up with an idea of a short film about this very unique time in all of our lives, for them to plan, come up with storyboard and script and shot list, and then they're going to move on to film and edit and produce a product. So what I did was I walked through, and I've already prepared all my materials for the coming weeks. So I actually filmed a short film. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. You can see real quick the actor that I had to use did a pretty good job. I'm going to just show you a little clip from it, and I'm going to show you the storyboard that I created to help me plan it. So you should be seeing my screen share switch over, and you should be seeing in a second YouTube. Let me know if you see it switched over to a YouTube view. Yeah? Okay. I'm just going to play the first 30 seconds of it. And you should get audio as well. All right. So just to give you an idea, I'll put the link to the short film if you want to check it out later. I think it turned out pretty good. My students definitely enjoyed it. So what I did was, before I got to the process of filming, obviously I needed to plan out the way that I was going to film so that I could do everything with as few retakes as possible. So the way the film progresses is, as you slowly see time pass, you see the main character begin to change from being this very put together individual, well dressed, wearing a suit and tie, to this slow degeneration, both in the clothes he's wearing, the way he's taking care of himself, and even the scene around him. So it's a pretty straightforward short film to make. I created a storyboard, which you're looking at right now, where I show or demonstrate that I have multiple scenes. It's going to go from night to day. I'm going to have character changing costumes several times. I have text underneath each of my blocks there in the storyboard to give you more information as the director, and also, like I said, to support the actor. And then halfway through, the phone rings, the character answers the phone, they're told that the lockdown is complete, it's done, they can go back outside. He stands up and walks out of the room. So this is just an example of how I used it, and I'm going to have my students follow the same steps in order for them to get to the point where they're filming. Before that, they have to make sure that they have a working storyboard that can help me understand what they're going to be creating. And I put the link in the chat in case you want to watch the video later. Mina, you're asking about the animated characters. So basically they have, and I'm going to show you during the demo, they have a library of characters that you can customize. And if you would like, you can export your final storyboard as an animation where it just goes from one scene to the next, and it exports that as an animated GIF. Or you can export it the way I did on this slide, which is as a static image. You can also upload your own stuff, which I will show in a moment too. So what we'll do now is I'm going to screen share. I'm going to show you what the platform looks like. And just give me a moment to switch over. When you see 3 blank squares, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So this is the layout for Storyboard That. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. So what you have, it's very simple layout. The first thing you want to do is you want to set up the number of, or the layout of the storyboard that you want. So down at the bottom left, there's a button that says Layout. You can choose your layout options. There are some examples over on the right-hand side. So they don't just have storyboards in the sense of the example that I shared, but down at the bottom they also have things like timelines or a Frayer model or a spider map. So you can use this as a graphic organizer tool as well. So you could use this as a teacher to create a resource for your students if you wanted them to do some pre-writing, for example. You wanted them to organize their ideas. So you can use this for that. I'm going to go ahead and just choose the standard layout, and you can select whether you want just the cell, you want title, title and description, and so on. So I'm just going to do title. I'm going to do cell and description. I clicked on that, and now I have a little text box underneath each one of the cells. I can also add cells here. So I can select the number of cells that I want and the layout that I want. So I'm going to just do 3 columns and 2 rows. And once I update that, now you see that it's changed on my screen. So up at the top, this is where you're going to be adding all of the different objects. You can add and modify the scenes. So underneath the Scenes tab, you have a whole bunch of different categories to choose from. You can have everything from indoor scenes inside of a house to school scenes, work scenes, and so on. And if you are looking for something in particular, you could search as well. So if I were to search for the word park, right, I'm seeing that there are objects that it's finding. There's some backdrops that it's finding. But I'm going to go back here. I'll go to scenes and I'll do town. And I'll look through these and see what I have. Sure, I'll put this one. So I just drag the scene into the cell and I let go, and it adds it straight inside there. So now that I have my first scene added into this cell, there are options for you to be able to customize this scene further. And I'm not going to go into too much detail here, such as changing the colors of the buildings and the colors of the sky and so on. But there's a lot of customization available. I can also click on Edit Scene, and I can change the time of day, and I can change the weather. So a lot of versatility in these. And you can already begin to see how engaged your students would be if you ask them to use this tool to create a story or to convey an idea or an understanding. Create graphic novels. There's so many wonderful ways you can create graphic novels with this. So I'm going to update my scene. I can also add a filter. So I could do, I could have a grayscale, maybe a film noir style graphic novel. Or if I wanted to do something that was historical fiction, maybe I could do sepia to set the mood. So now that I have my scene, I'm going to move on to my character. So if I click on characters, you have all of these avatars available. You have categories here: adults, teens, jobs, sports, cultural. You have characters that are dressed in periodic outfits from different time periods as well. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to choose a standard adult, and I'm going to drag him into the scene. I'm going to modify his size. And then what I can also do is I can edit his pose. And this is one of the coolest things, in my opinion, about, here, 1 second. Looks like somebody else started screen sharing. Give me a second. Are we still seeing my screen? Okay. So if I click on edit pose, you can change the expression of the character. They have some preset poses down at the bottom. So if I want to make my character look angry, make him look like he's walking, sleeping, happy, so on and so forth. And you can, have fun by going in and customizing it further if you want. I'll give him a beard. And you can choose the front view, the side view, or the back view. So in this case, I'm going to go with the side view. I'm going to say that he's crying. And I'm going to update his pose. And you can see that it's now reflected inside of the scene. I'm going to change the color of his hair and his skin, his clothes, and now I have my character standing there. Let's continue going through. What are the other features? Up at the top, there's textables. These are for everything from speech bubbles, thought bubbles, action words that you want, any shapes that you'd like to add as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my background and my character, and I'm going to group them, and I'm going to copy them. And I'm going to have the same scene in the second cell as well. And in the second cell, I'm going to have a thought bubble. And I'll give him a thought. Okay. And so very quickly, I'm able to add more content on these. You also, if you're looking to use this for nonfiction writing, you can use it to create infographics. There's a lot of images and icons and tools if you wanted to create something that was an infographic on a topic where students had explored and done research and they wanted to present that information. There's also wireframes and different ways you could use this to do mock-ups of, say, you wanted your students to build a website and you wanted them to do a mock-up ahead of time to show that they had a clear vision of where they wanted to go. You could take advantage of these options or these resources here as well. So again, there's a lot to explore, and I want to give you some time while I'm here to answer any questions you might have or things you might not know how to find. So I'm going to quickly pop back out, and I'm going to show you one more thing. Once you've logged in and you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see they have a section or a category that talks about lesson plans and activities. And this is where you can find teacher resources for you to get an idea of what the platform can do. What are some examples that you could look at to get inspiration? So everything from graphic novels, infographics, storyboard templates. You can look at it sorted here by categories and by subject areas. And you can click on that and you can see more resources. They have ideas of how you could structure lessons, as well as templates that you can use. I'm going to switch back now. And what I'd like for you to do, since we don't have time for you to go through and create a whole storyboard, I thought it would be fun if you could get in right now and if you could place a scene, place a character, and try to make a character that looks somewhat like yourself. So thinking about, the Bitmoji craze that's going around, right? Everyone loves making Bitmojis that look like themselves. So why don't you explore the platform right now? Take a couple of minutes to do that. I will be here and I will be answering questions. And if you have questions, you don't need to put it in the chat. You can turn your microphone on and you can just ask and we can have a conversation. And then I would love for some people to finish this and actually share their screen and show us what you've done and how you've created your avatar. Yeah, sure. If you want to share something that you've already created, Silky, absolutely. And yes, Arun, you can upload your own images. You do not need to only use what they have available. I think that what they have in terms of characters and the poses is really powerful. But if you have your own background scenes or you have your own images that you'd like to upload, you're able to do that. They have a very simple upload feature. So Silky, you're sharing a graphic novel that you made. I'm going to also add the link again because I think we got some people that joined in a little bit later. So I'm just posting this one more time. If you want to get access to StoryboardThat, the full pro version, click on that link, use your Google account to sign in. And if you did click on the link that Silky shared of her graphic novel, you can also see down there at the bottom that there is an option for you to add comments. So a nice way to get some feedback if you were to share with other students in your class to be able to get some feedback on the work that they did. You can download it and you can save it. So once you've created something, you have the option of, all of these are going to appear underneath your storyboards. So under your account, you're going to have a section that says My Storyboards. And all you have to do is click on the storyboard that you want to download. And you're going to have options. It's going to say download. And then you're going to have options of how you'd like to download it. And that's what I was saying. You can download it as an animated GIF where it's going to change between the different cells and create an animation, or you can download it as image, JPEG. You can download it as a slideshow if you want. If you've created and you want to use it as a series of slides to present to your students. You can also convert it into a template. So if you've gone in and you've created sort of the framework that you'd want your students, you've created that the scaffold there for the students to build off of, then you can save your storyboard as a template, and then you can share the template with them. Let's see what other questions we have. Yeah, I did share one in my slideshow. I'm not sure if you saw it, Silky, but I did had the animation playing. So I had a 4-cell storyboard that I exported, and it was just the only difference is my character was changing his pose. You can change the size of the character when you add the character to the scene. There should be options, just like you were to resize an image on another software, where you can grab the corner and you can resize proportionally, or you could grab from the side or the top to stretch your character. Once you've added your students, you've created your class, you can also push out assignments to them. So it will facilitate the process of keeping track of which of your students have completed the assignment and where they are in the process there as well. So it keeps it quite organized. You can. So what I did have to crop Arun in my case with my storyboard. And that's because I wanted the same scene, but I wanted to show that it was zoomed in. So what you can do is when you click on the scene, you can click on the crop button. And then you are able to do a standard crop where you're just resizing using that same square or rectangular shape. You can also do more advanced crop options. And you can crop any character, any image, object, or scene. So you can make it so that just the top half of the character you've moved in, you're now at a a medium shot, so you're just showing the upper body of the character. Absolutely. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stop the recording